Hi, this is Lee from Enthusiast Photographer. Since I had them both in hand, I wanted to take a chance to show you the two 7200 lenses that kind of are in the same price range from Nikon, or just on the Nikon side, for enthusiast photographers that both cost kind of around the same money. The first one I'll show you is the brand new 7200 f4. It's $13.99 list, and it's an incredible lens. It's really sharp, really nice and light was my big thing. I had the much older 80-200 f2.8, which gives up a stop of light, and for a stop of light that basically means I can cut my shutter speed, or double my shutter speed, or cut my ISO in half. So a stop of light between a f2.8 and an f4 is a big deal, but for me, the fact that this only weighs 1.87 pounds, or about 8.85 kilograms, was a big deal. It really chopped a lot of weight off my bag and made sure this came with me. So the other thing that's kind of that same price range, you see them used for around $1,500, is the older 7200 f2.8 VR1. So one thing you're going to notice, obviously, it's bigger. This is the one more stop of light, versus this, but 3.2 pounds, or almost a kilogram and a half, 1.45 kilograms. It's also 8.5 inches versus 7 here, so you're really talking on a much more substantial lens. You've got the foot, but the nice thing about it is the foot design is removable, so you can just kind of do with that, which is kind of handy. But even still, this is a pretty beefy lens. It's great, it's sharp, but I would tell you, they both have VR. This is going to give you probably an additional stop over this for hand holding with the VR3 that's here. But for me, the main thing was weight. This at 3.2 pounds, or my other lens was slightly heavier than that. The newer VR2 is even heavier than that. It's 3.4 pounds and almost, well over a kilogram and a half. So big weight difference between the 2.8 lenses and the f4, and that was the big deal for me. Couple other things. So you'll see these around $1,500 used, maybe a little less, sometimes as low as maybe $1,300. Where this is $13.99 list. One thing you do note: no tripod mount here. You have to buy a collar and a foot, and those are $100 to $200 from RS. Nikon does sell one, and Kirk makes one as well. So you kind of have to factor that in a little bit. If you don't shoot off a tripod, you've saved the money. But the other thing I'll kind of call out, this takes 77mm filters, which is consistent with the 24-70 and the older 28-75 Pro lenses. A lot of the, like the 85-1.4 Prime takes 77mm filters, where this takes 67, which is the same as my 1.8 85mm lens and my Tamron 28-75 zoom. So more the consumer grade, if you will, the high-end consumer grade lenses are on 67, the Pros are on 77. The good news is, if you standardize on one size, you can kind of commonize. I buy a step-up ring and use a lot of my 77mm filters on this with no problems at all. So that's just kind of the quick comparison. I mean, the other thing I'll kind of call out is the newer version of this, the VR2, is $1,000 more than this list, $23.99. You see them for $1,900 used. The one thing I will say is, adding a couple $100 for a tripod mount here versus the VR2, which obviously comes with one, you maybe want to think about, whether you need that extra stop of light and you can manage the weight, because the newer 7200 f2.8 is almost double the weight of this guy. And like I said, for me, what that found was I wound up leaving my 7200 or 8200 at home because it was just so heavy in my bag. So this goes along fine, it carries fine, it's really light, and I love it a lot. It's extremely sharp. The testing has come out great on this thing. So I would just tell you, if you're an enthusiast photographer, probably, unless you're shooting sports or lots of indoor low light stuff, this is a great lens for you. Come to my blog, enthusiastphotographer.com, or on Facebook, or follow me, Enthus Photo, at Twitter. Thanks.